Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for standing by. Welcome to the Teare Wireless announces acquisition of Airlink conference call. During today's presentation, all parties will be in a listen-only mode. Following the presentation, the conference will be opened for questions. If you have a question, please press the star followed by the 1 on your touch-tone phone. This conference is being recorded Tuesday, March 6, 2007. I would now like to turn the call over to Jason Kohnauer, President and Chief Executive Officer. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Eric, and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to all of you for joining today's call regarding our planned acquisition of Airlink Communications. We are webcasting today's PowerPoint presentation, and you can find the link for that presentation in our press release regarding the acquisition or on our website. This presentation will also be available on our website after this call. The agenda for today's call is we will walk through the introductions of today's participants. Dave lost the coin toss again. He'll be reading our safe harbor statement. We'll review the transaction, do an overview of Airlink, review the strategic rationale, an overview of the combination, then we'll summarize and go to questions. Joining me on the call today is Dave McLennan, our CFO, and also from Hayward, California, Andrew Berman, the CEO of Airlink Communications. Now, before we move into the substance of the presentation, I'll ask Dave to read our safe harbor statement.
Thanks, Jason, and good afternoon, everyone. Certain statements on this conference call that are not based on historical facts constitute forward-looking statements or forward-looking information within the meaning of applicable securities laws. These forward-looking statements are not promises or guarantees of future performance, but are only predictions that relate to future events, conditions, or circumstances, or our future results, performance, achievements, or developments, and are subject to substantial known and unknown risks, assumptions, uncertainties, and other factors that could cause our actual results, performance, achievements, or developments in our business or in our industry to differ materially from those expressed, anticipated, or implied by such forward-looking statements. Forward-looking statements include disclosure regarding possible events, conditions, circumstances, or results of operations that are based on assumptions about future economic conditions, courses of actions, and other future events. We caution you not to place undue reliance upon such forward-looking statements, which speak only as of the date they are made. These forward-looking statements appear in a number of different places and can be identified by words such as may, estimates, projects, expects, intends, believes, plans, anticipates, or their negatives or other comparable words. Forward-looking statements include statements regarding the outlook for our future operations, plans and timing for the introduction or enhancement of our services and products, statements concerning strategies or developments, statements about future market conditions, supply conditions, end customer demand conditions, channel inventory and sell-through, revenue, gross margin, operating expenses, profits, and forecasts of future costs and expenditures, as well as statements about the outcome of legal proceedings and other expectations, intentions, and plans that are not historical fact. The risk factors and uncertainties that may affect our actual results, performance, achievements, or developments are many and include, amongst others, our ability to develop, manufacture, supply, and market new products that we do not produce today, but which meet the needs of customers and gain commercial acceptance. A reliance on the deployment of next-generation networks by major wireless operators, the continuous commitment of our customers, and increased competition. These risk factors and others are discussed in our annual information form, which may be found on SEDAR and in our other regulatory filings with the SEC in the United States and the provincial securities commissions in Canada. Many of these factors and uncertainties are beyond the control of the company. Consequently, all forward-looking statements on this conference call are qualified by this cautionary statement, and there can be no assurance that actual results, performance, achievements, or developments anticipated by the company will be realized. Forward-looking statements are based on management's current plans, estimates, projections, beliefs, and opinions, and the company does not undertake any obligation to update forward-looking statements should the assumptions related to these plans, estimates, projections, beliefs, and opinions change. With that, over to you, Jason. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. So today we're pleased to announce that Teare Wireless has signed a definitive agreement with Airlink Communications to acquire 100% of Airlink shares. This combination brings together two longtime leaders in wireless data solutions and creates a merged entity that is well positioned in wide area wireless for mobile computing, rugged mobile connectivity solutions, and wireless M2M solutions. Under the terms of the merger agreement, Teare Wireless is expected to acquire 100% of the shares of Airlink Communications, a privately held California company. Teare Wireless will pay consideration of $10 million in cash, plus approximately 1.3 million newly issued shares of Teare Wireless stock. This consideration is subject to customary closing adjustments. The transaction is valued at approximately $26.9 million as at yesterday's market close. As a result of the transaction, Airlink shareholders will own approximately 4.8% of the combined company at closing. The transaction is subject to customary closing conditions, including regulatory approval, which includes the California Department of Corporations Fairness hearing and approval from Airlink shareholders. We have received voting commitment from Airlink shareholders representing approximately 58% of shares. We expect to complete the acquisition by the end of June. Moving to an overview of Airlink. Founded in 1993, Airlink has 50 full-time employees and is headquartered in the San Francisco Bay Area, specifically Hayward, California. Airlink is a leading provider of high-value fixed and mobile wireless data solutions for industrial, commercial, and public safety applications. They currently offer a multi-tiered suite of mobile and M2M wireless connectivity products that are powered by robust embedded software and complemented by a broad set of host software tools and utilities for remote device management and integration. Airlink has had strong historical revenue growth and has been profitable for the last 3 years. Airlink's unaudited results for 2006 include revenue of $24.8 million that represents 25% top-line growth compared to 2005, gross margin of 44%, and earnings from operations of $3.9 million. Teare Wireless has been a supplier of embedded modules to Airlink and a competitor of Airlink's for several years. Moving to Airlink's target markets, Airlink's wireless connectivity devices and accompanying software are sold into a broad range of mobile and M2M target markets, including telemetry applications for the energy and financial markets and fleet management applications for public safety and transportation organizations. While there is some modest amount of overlap between the target markets of Teare Wireless and Airlink, particularly in public safety, Teare Wireless has had little direct presence in most of the markets served by Airlink. As a result of the combination, we will consolidate 2 strong positions in the rugged mobile for public safety segment, while diversifying Teare's business to include a strong presence in the growing M2M space. Moving to strategic rationale. First, we believe that this transaction will have a significant positive financial impact to our business. Overnight, we will substantially expand our product offerings and business in the high gross margin, rugged mobile, and M2M segments. We believe that this will have a positive impact on our overall company gross margins and operating margins, and we expect the transaction to be accretive to earnings by year-end. Second, this combination brings together 2 leaders in wireless data solutions. Airlink has had a strong franchise in providing high-value fixed and mobile wireless data solutions for industrial, commercial, and public safety applications. Teare Wireless has a strong franchise in providing wide-area wireless solutions for mobile computing, including to vertical markets such as public safety. As a combined entity, we expect to be the clear leader in the rugged mobile category for select vertical markets such as public safety, field service, and transportation. We also expect to capture a strong position in several potentially high-growth wireless M2M segments. This merger also significantly strengthens our capabilities in a number of key areas. First, our product line expands considerably and supports the needs of a significantly broader set of target markets, bringing welcomed market, channel, and customer diversification to our business. We will also be integrating an established, experienced field sales and technical support team. We view the combining of our respective sales and support teams as vital to driving strong brand and presence for all Sierra Wireless products. We also believe that this is a combination that significantly strengthens our software offerings and capability, an area that we believe is an important element to building and maintaining a differentiated position in the market in an area we plan to invest in. Overall, we view this transaction as consistent with our strategy of renewing and strengthening our emphasis on higher gross margin products and solutions. Moving to the product lineup, with the acquisition of Airlink, our product line expands considerably while also covering more of the wireless value chain. Our 3G embedded modules business continues to be a key strategic focus for the company, as an increasing number of OEMs have selected our modules to power their mobile computing devices. Our embedded modules also represent the wireless engines for most of our other products. From these wireless engines, we create various 3G mobile computing adapter products under our AirCard brand name, including PCMCIA, ExpressCard, and USB devices. Both our embedded modules and mobile computing adapter products have experienced substantial growth in the past 18 months, and we expect to see continued strong growth in those categories. Our embedded modules also serve as the wireless engines for sophisticated, rugged mobile solutions that deliver wireless connectivity and precision GPS location information for public safety, field service, and transportation organizations. We will also have intelligent wireless connectivity devices for M2M, serving a broad range of fixed applications in markets such as energy distribution, financial transactions, and waste management. With Airlink, we acquire robust embedded software to drive our rugged mobile and M2M solutions and to facilitate connectivity to a variety of legacy IT protocols. Over time, we expect all of our rugged mobile and M2M wireless connectivity devices to be driven by Airlink's powerful Alios embedded software. Complementing Alios is a broad set of software tools and utilities to support system integration and device management. We believe that this software suite will enable us to provide more of the solution and thus more of the value to our customers. The channels of distribution. With the acquisition of Airlink, we expect to further expand and diversify our global channels of distribution. Additionally, we believe the Airlink hardware and software product suite will enable us to bring more products and solutions to our growing base of global channel partners, helping them to sell more products, generate more revenue, and activate more subscribers. We believe that this fundamentally strengthens our value proposition and position with our channel partners. Moving to the organization, our corporate headquarters will remain in Richmond, British Columbia, and we do not expect any changes to the Richmond or Carlsbad teams as a result of the acquisition. I will continue as the President and CEO of Sierra Wireless. Andrew Berman, Airlink CEO, will become the Senior Vice President and General Manager of Sierra's Mobile and M2M Modem Products Group, reporting directly to me. The Mobile and M2M Group will continue to operate out of Airlink's headquarters office in Hayward, California. On integration, we have asked Andy to take on the challenge of driving our mobile and M2M segments because we believe that this complex, high gross margin part of our business requires the focus and dedication of a proven leader in the space. Along with Andy, we expect to integrate most of the existing Airlink team into Sierra Wireless and to invest in growing this part of our business. Our current rugged mobile product line will ultimately be transitioned to the new mobile and M2M product group. And over time, we expect all of our mobile and M2M products to share a common software platform and application suite. We believe that our customers will find this very valuable and that it will help us to build and maintain our differentiation. We also plan to combine our respective sales and field support teams while ensuring that we preserve product specialization in key areas. We believe that a larger field sales and support team will result in stronger brand and demand pull for all of our products. Moving to guidance, We plan to provide quantitative guidance, including estimated restructuring and integration costs for the second quarter of 2007 when we report our Q1 2007 results on April 26th. Qualitatively, we are buying a higher gross margin, profitable business that is expected to be accretive to earnings by the end of the year. We expect modest, if any, operating expense synergies as a result of the combination. Over time, we do expect to capture some product cost synergies in our mobile and M2M modem product line. Longer term, we expect positive revenue synergies as our combined sales team sells the expanded Sierra Wireless product portfolio through our global channels of distribution. Moving to a summary, Sierra Wireless is acquiring Airlink Communications. We view the combination as consistent with our strategy of renewing and strengthening our emphasis on higher gross margin products and solutions. The acquisition establishes Sierra Wireless as the clear leader in the rugged mobile and wireless M2M modem segments. The acquisition expands our high gross margin product lines and business. The acquisition adds market, channel, and customer diversification to our mix. It also strengthens our ability to drive position and brand in targeted vertical markets. The acquisition strengthens our software offerings and capability for key segments. The acquisition also adds focused, proven leadership to our mobile and M2M segments. And once again, we expect the transaction to be accretive to earnings by the end of the year. And we expect the combination to drive improved growth, profitability, and shareholder value. Now, before we move to questions, I'd like to say that I've had the pleasure of getting to know Andy over the last 3 years as a customer, competitor, and industry colleague. In my interactions with Andy, I have found him to be passionate about his business, extremely professional, and a person of high integrity. Andy and his team have done an exemplary job in growing Airlink and driving the company to consistent profitability. In Andy, I am confident that we have the right person to provide the leadership and focus we need to grow our mobile and M2M product segments. I look forward to working with Andy in his new capacity as a senior executive of Sierra Wireless. Andy, would you like to comment on the combination?
Yeah, sure. Just briefly, Jason. Thank you very much, by the way, for the kind words, and thank you both, you and Dave, for the warm welcome throughout this process. I guess suffice it to say, I feel very much the same way about both of you and all the folks at Sierra Wireless. And obviously, I concur with everything that Jason has described about the transaction, and everybody here in Hayward, myself included, obviously, are very, very excited for the future of what's to come. You know, for our part, this has really been the logical next step in what to date has been a very long, focused vision around wireless device networking and M2M applications. It's a vision that we have never wavered from, and this has been our core focus and our core competency from day one. And what is so meaningful here about this transaction is that now with Sierra Wireless, we will have the necessary resources to nurture that vision for many, many, many years to come. And I guess the only other thing I'd like to add is that from our perspective, what's made this such a positive experience is the natural cultural fit between these companies. When you think about it, we both began in 1993, so we've been doing wireless data networking and communications since the inception of the networks. We have both been focused on wireless data. We have our roots in M2M. Sierra Wireless started with the MP product line, and as it diversified into air cards and embedded modules and other products, Airlink took that time to dive deeper and deeper into M2M. And so we've been in business together for many years on top of that, and we've gotten to know each other extremely well. And what I like thinking about is that in that 13-year period, Sierra Wireless never forgot its roots, and to its day, despite its diversification, kept the MP product line, and now has brought Airlink into the family to nurture those roots and expand them globally. And it's very, very exciting stuff.
Great. Thanks very much, Andy, and looking forward to working with you. And with that, Eric, I think we'll open the line up for questions.
Thank you, sir. We will now begin the question and answer session. As a reminder, if you have a question, please press the star followed by the 1 on your touch-tone phone. To withdraw a question, press the star followed by the 2. If you're using a speakerphone, you will need to lift the handset before making your selection. Our first question comes from George Wanek with CIBC World Markets. Please go ahead, sir.
Congratulations on the acquisition, Jason and Dave, and also to you, Andy. Jason, can you give a sense of how large you think the M2M market is right now and what type of growth outlook you see for the next year or two?
Well, as you probably know, the M2M market is massively diverse. And we are playing in a fairly small segment of it, the wide area wireless segment of M2M, as we join forces with Airlink. So, I mean, overall, the market is counted in the billions of dollars. Now, with respect to cellular wireless in the M2M market, I think it's safe to say that Airlink's historical growth is probably a pretty good barometer of industry growth. And last year they grew 25% in revenue terms. And while that's not specific guidance for what we'll do in M2M with Airlink in the back half of 2007 and beyond, it's probably a reasonable proxy for growth.
Okay, and can you give us a sense of how much overlap there is from a customer standpoint and how much of Teare sales was coming from Airlink at this point?
Dave, you know what our sales to Airlink were, right?
Sure. We sold Airlink modems through 2006 embedded modules, and they were in the range of $2.5 to $3 million, and would have been reported in our OEM segment.
Okay, and just one final question. Can you give us a sense of the type of visibility you have with the customers? Have you spoken with them already, and what the initial reaction has been?
No, we can't because we haven't done that yet, right? The news has just hit the wire at 1:30, and I would suspect overall we'll get a favorable response from our customers. Most of whom are indirect channels, and at the end of the day, at Sierra Wireless, we're bringing them a broader portfolio of products, more solutions to sell either through their channels or onto their networks. And I think that'll only be viewed as positive. And from Airlink's perspective, I'm not going to speak on behalf of Andy, but I think joining a team that has the broader distribution channels and better working capital to drive growth should mean positive things in terms of customer reaction.
Thank you.
The next question comes from Papa Giorgio with Scotia Capital. Go ahead.
Thanks. Sorry, when you said the Sierra Wireless sells product to Airlink, can you tell me how pervasive is it in Airlink's product line? Like, do all Airlink products have a Sierra Wireless module in them, or is it select product lines?
It's select product lines, Gus. Airlink has a number of different module suppliers as they cover a number of different generations of cellular Airlinks. Their products support everything from iDEN to GPRS to Edge to 1X to 3G Airlinks. And historically, we've been better positioned with Airlink as a supplier on the 3G Airlinks, and other suppliers have provided modules for the 2 and 2.5G Airlinks.
Would it be fair to assume that going forward after the acquisition, that Sierra would become the exclusive provider of modules to Airlink, or would they maintain a diversified supplier base?
I would expect that they will maintain a diversified supplier base, simply because there are application areas that Airlink supports that we don't have modules that fit, right?
Okay.
Or we're never going to make a GPRS module, as an example. We're not going to make Edge modules, and there are Airlink customers and channels who require support for that Airlink.
Okay. And I guess you said that we would probably see synergies later on in the later on, but wouldn't as the acquisition closes, I'd imagine that right now Airlink is buying Sierra Wireless products at, I guess, for lack of a better word, retail, and after the acquisition, wouldn't it just be transferred at cost? And so wouldn't you be able to either bump up the gross margins almost automatically or lower price to be more competitive?
Yeah, it's Dave. I mean, certainly there'll be an element of some intercompany eliminations, both on the revenue side and on the cost of sales side. So, you should think of those adjustments as part of the transaction, and in fact, at a gross margin level, they would wash out.
Okay. And just one final question: Can you give us a sense of Airlink's balance sheet? Is Airlink in a net cash position? Do they have debt? Any kind of insight would be helpful.
The current balance sheet isn't that relevant in that, as part of the transaction, we won't be assuming any debt or anything like that. So we'll be purchasing a debt-free company, and there will be, some element of cash on the balance sheet that comes with that in terms of working capital.
Okay, so net cash positive, but not materially.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Our next question comes from John Butcher with BMO Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, John Bucher. I was wondering if you could provide just a rough breakdown of Airlink's revenues by end market, telemetry, fleet management, public safety. Just give us a rough idea. And also, related to that, was wondering if you could say who your top 1, 2, or 3 customers are, and what percentage of Airlink's total revenues the top 3 customers comprise. Thank you.
John, I'll take that. We're not in a position to disclose segmented revenue from Airlink at this point in time. As we combine the two companies, we'll decide after the fact, just how much granularity we'll give in terms of visibility inside certain markets. From a customer concentration standpoint, on your second question, again, we're not going to provide specific information, but I will say that customer concentration is not quite what it is with Airlink as it is with us. Meaning, Airlink has a significantly more diversified customer base than we do, and with no single customers contributing over 20% of revenue.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. Maybe just one other try at the first question there. Can you say what the top generating segment has been or was in 2006, whether it's the fleet management, telemetry? Thank you.
But I would say that they are comparable in size between fixed and mobile. And we'll have to leave it at that.
Okay, great. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Our next question comes from Devin Gui with Highwood Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, congratulations, Jason, Dave, and Andrew, on the transaction.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Jason, you were just talking about modest OPEX synergies once the integration is on the way and in steady state, and then subsequently also powered by positive revenue synergies in terms of growth. You also alluded in your call that Teare was supplying not only to Airlink, but also was supplying to some of its competitors. Do you expect, if at all, there's a potential loss from the competitors now that you have vertically integrated this company, to be more than offset by the potential revenue synergies by the virtue of the broader channel base that you've got, given that Airlink was essentially a North American play, and now this is going to be much more of a global play, if that is what is within your sights?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly weighed the risks involved of potentially losing customers that are more direct competitors to Airlink than they have been to us. And on balance, we believe that the transaction is compelling in spite of that risk. And I'll also point out that Airlink, as you mentioned, Deb, I'll reemphasize the fact that they're a customer of ours, but also a competitor of ours. And in spite of the competitive aspect of the relationship, we've been able to have an extremely productive relationship, and are a good supplier to Airlink. At least I hope Andy will say we're a good supplier to Airlink. And there are other examples like that in our customer portfolio. There's Blue Tree, as an example, is both a competitor and a customer. So, I don't know that acquiring Airlink materially changes those relationships in any way. However, there's got to be some incremental risk. It's hard to measure. Some incremental risk that those customers may go to other suppliers. But again, we've kind of taken that risk into consideration when evaluating the transaction, and on balance, doing the transaction is far more compelling than not.
Okay, and based on I guess your body language, it looks like even if that risk pans out, the revenue growth will more than offset whatever that risk would be, and that revenue growth will be either equal to or whatever higher than what we have seen year over year between 05 and 06 when we look at Airlink's revenue profile, right?
Right. Well, you notice I specifically avoided the subject of dollarized revenue. So that may well end up being the case, but I'm not prepared to commit to it now. Well, what I am prepared to commit to is that the strategic merits of the combination, accounting for all variables, revenue, earnings, strategic positioning, is much more compelling than not doing the transaction.
Okay. And my second question would lead into this. Now, with this combination, with respect to the M2M and the ruggedized mobile side, Teare would be going global with respect to targeting the verticals, right? In the sense, I'm just looking at your competitors. Who would you consider going forward for the combined entity and for this particular division would be the top three major competitors?
Well, if you look at the competitive landscape, it really does vary often by geography and often by line of application. So, if you look in the rugged mobile space, most of the competitors are small, privately held companies, considerably smaller than Airlink, and I think that we'd be in a very strong consolidated position with Airlink in attacking the rugged mobile space. I think it would put us in a clearly a very strong leadership position in that space. And then in M2M, it really varies. Airlink competes against Digi in some vertical markets. They compete against land cellular and other vertical markets. It really depends. And what we like most about Airlink with respect to M2M is that their product lines and solutions clearly, in our view, cover the broadest landscape in the M2M market. So they actually compete against a number of different competitors because those competitors compete on a much more narrow basis than Airlink does.
So let me ask you, do you consider Wavecom based out of Europe as a competitor going forward?
No, not at all. In fact, Wavecom is a supplier to Airlink. So you have to view the Airlink solutions as one step up from the modules, right?
Yeah.
They're adding considerable amount of intelligence, embedded software capability, and all of the host-based tools that make M2M applications actually work. Whereas what Wavecom is providing is the module, the wireless engine.
Yes. Okay, and one last question, if you don't mind. Based on, I guess, the existing profile, as well as the one moving forward, do you expect seasonality with respect to just the Airlink specific revenues going forward? Because Teare, like any other player, would be kind of significant between Q1 and Q4.
Yeah, Airlink it's hard to say because Airlink is sort of like Teare Wireless in that regard. They've been growing the business considerably. They've been opening up new markets. They've been releasing new products, and that has tended, I believe, to kind of cover up what is traditional seasonality in the market. And you see the same thing in our business. Q1 is typically seasonally down, yet we are guiding to have significantly stronger revenue in Q1, and that's because of the market dynamics, the growth dynamic, plus new products, plus new customers. And I think Airlink is experiencing something similar to that.
Great. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you. All the best.
Thanks, Deb.
Thanks, Deb.
Our next question comes from Sarah Kim with Raymond James. Please go ahead.
Hi, congratulations on the deal, everyone. I just have a question on Airlink's revenues from on a geographic basis. Are the sales highly concentrated in North America, and is that why you talked about the global expansion as one of the positives to the deal?
That is correct. Yeah, most of Airlink's sales are focused in North America currently. And eventually, we would like to see those products go through our global channels of distribution. So that's clearly an area for growth as long as we can make that all work effectively.
Okay. And I'm just wondering, I don't know if you'll answer this now or at the next conference call, but just wondering if you can comment on the impact to your overall tax rates, just given California tax rates and versus Sierra Wireless's overall tax rate.
Sure. It's Dave, Sarah. We, in Q4, we were around 22%, guidance having us at 22 to 25%. I still see us within that range in the near term.
Okay, great. And just lastly, are you taking on all 50 employees, and how will that impact the OPEX?
Yeah, we are planning to take on most of the Airlink team and make them part of Sierra Wireless. And as we indicated, we see modest, if any, opportunities right now for OPEX synergies.
Okay. And just, sorry, one last question. Just in terms of the integration, you talked about the integration being complete by first quarter of 2008. Is a reason for the time it takes for the integration just because you're going to be integrating all the field sales and support people into the Teare Wireless's operations, or are there other factors?
Well, that's right. Don't forget the transaction isn't expected to close until June. So, that's 9 months of runway to get everything integrated, and that is, that's by driving it real hard. So, I don't think in terms of integration spending, we're looking at big numbers, but clearly we need to do a lot of organizational integration, and doing that well and effectively will take time. Supply chain is a good example. We still don't know exactly how we're going to merge the supply chain for mobile and M2M. We need to see how things run and make those decisions as we go along. We don't want to make those decisions too hastily because we don't want to throw speed bumps in front of Airlink's growth or our own growth. So, our credo right now with respect to integration is take it slow. Don't do things too hastily. We've got a growing business on our hands, and we want to make sure not to disrupt that growth trend.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Our next question comes from Amir Rozwadowski with Lehman Brothers. Please go ahead.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing, Amir?
Good. Just one quick question. In terms of, you'd mentioned that gross margins for the Airlink business had been around 44% in 06. Can you give us a sense sort of whether or not those have improved, or we should think of that as sort of steady state for the business?
I view that as indicative, Amir.
Okay.
Hopefully that's evasive enough for you. All kidding aside, I think that's, consider that indicative gross margins.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, if there are any additional questions at this time, please press the star followed by the 1. As a reminder, if you are using a speakerphone, please lift your handset before pressing the numbers. At this time, I'm showing no additional questions in the queue. I'd like to turn the call back to management for any closing remarks they may have.
Okay, great. Thanks, sir. Well, once again, thanks very much to everybody for joining the call. I think this is for Sierra Wireless, clearly an important strategic milestone, and we are very much looking forward to completing the transaction and integrating the Airlink team and business. I think that overall this is a really good thing for us and a really good thing for Airlink. And I think together we're in a very strong position to drive growth in what is a very strong gross margin and operating margin line of business. So with that, we'll end the call, and thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude the Sierra Wireless announces acquisition of Airlink conference call. You may now disconnect, and we thank you for using AT&T teleconferencing.